Hello and welcome to this edition of Tuscaloosa is Talking with Philip Coleman. And as you can see, we're doing another special edition of Tuscaloosa is Talking because once again, I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Michelle, who is also the producer of this program. And she's here because we're doing another movie review, our third movie review. And this time we're going to be talking about the brand new Steven Spielberg science fiction extraterrestrial epic called Disclosure Day. And we're going to let you know whether or not Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day is worth you having a close encounter with, or will it leave you feeling like an ancient alien? But first, let's have a brief synopsis of what the film is basically about. We have two separate organizations, one group of what I call dedicated whistleblowers who have gotten fed up with the federal government keeping the truth about the alien presence on Earth away from us, the public, and they have gone to extreme measures to make sure that we, the people, know that intelligent extraterrestrial life is here on Earth and has been here for decades, and in some case, even interacting with certain aspects of our government. What these whistleblowers have done is they have stolen classified film from decades ago and stolen classified video from years ago that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that intelligent alien life is here on Earth and living among us. Now, the other organization, just the opposite. It's a huge, very powerful, deeply secretive organization that no one knows about, that was formed for the sole purpose of keeping that truth away from the people. And this very powerful, secretive organization is armed with the very latest technology at their fingertips. And they also are armed with apparently their own small, well-weaponized army that they are not shy about using to deadly effect to make sure the secret of the extraterrestrial presence on Earth remains just that, a secret. So what ensues is a grand chase as the whistleblowers seek to bring this digitized version of these old films and old videos to a certain type of computer where it can be uploaded, where literally the whole world can see these images and learn the truth. So Michelle, with you and I having seen this movie just the other night, what is your initial impression of Disclosure Day?
Oh, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend anyone to go see it. There was plenty of action, there was aliens, and invisibility. All the things I enjoy. I just really enjoyed it.
I know you did, because there was a certain scene, speaking of action, in which you and I both lunged back in our seats at the same time. I am so glad you brought up the action element, because I have greatly admired Steven Spielberg's work as a director for decades. I haven't seen all of his films, but I have seen many of them. And I would dare to say that Disclosure Day has the most action of any Steven Spielberg film ever. There are lots of wild, crazy, slam, bam car chases, even a runaway train scene. I think that might be the one that made us lunge back at the same time. Even a out of control fire truck goes careening down a city street. And if that weren't bad enough, someone is driving that out of control fire truck that has no business driving a fire truck. And to make matters even more worse, the fire truck is invisible, as you alluded to. So lots of action there. But along with all that action, there is also plenty of food for thought. The other side of the disclosure issue is presented. There are those people who argue, would society really be helped or harmed if we were to learn that intelligent life from other planets is among us? would the very foundations of our society that holds us together as a society, would these foundations be shaken harshly if we were to learn that alien life, intelligent extraterrestrial life, is among us and does exist? They deal specifically about how this knowledge might affect religion. They deal with that in a surprisingly direct manner. They basically ask us, if you were presented with irrefutable proof that intelligent life from other planets does exist and is among us here on Earth, would that shatter your faith in God? Would that make you turn away from your religion? They deal with that head on.
Yes, they do. As a matter of fact, they have one character who questions her faith, knowing that there's something other than just human. And there's another character who said her faith wasn't shaken at all, that she just could imagine without a disclosure, with the universe being so vast, that she couldn't imagine there not being something other out there. So she always anticipated without the disclosure. And I must say, in reality, I see that kind of playing out. Should there ever be a disclosure in reality, I do believe there will be a lot of discussion and controversy about people's faiths, whether or not they would, be shaken or stand steadfast. I know for me, my faith in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob would remain steadfast. And I do know that I would prefer the disclosure, and I would want to know for sure what is out there and what we have stored in Area 51 or wherever else they store such things and such information and such alien beings and craft. I would like to know about that, and I think I could handle it as I already believe. I do believe something is already there. So I wouldn't be shaken or panicked. Like I said, I believe it's already there and exists. I do believe in full disclosure, and my faith would not be shaken at all. Now, do you agree with full disclosure?
Yes, I think that the truth is always the best approach to take. The truth is always what is right, as long as it is indeed the truth. And my faith as a devout Christian would not be shaken the least bit if I were to learn that there is intelligent life on other planets. It does exist. It has come down here to Earth. That would not shake my faith in God the least bit. I mean, not the least bit at all.
Would it rattle your nerves or cause you to go insane to know there's something more there? Why would the government, any world government, assume there would be mass hysteria? Now, I do know back in the day there was a radio show, and they said that they were acting it out over the radio, and they said it caused widespread panic. I can't imagine why that would be, but with all of the soft disclosure and the TV shows and movies that we've had at this date, at this point in history, I just don't think anyone would be alarmed, and I don't think it would disrupt much. But what do you say about the mass hysteria back when that radio show ran?
I know quite a bit about that. I'm not trying to be Mr. Expert here, but I do know a lot about that. That is the famous or infamous, depending on your point of view, War of the Worlds broadcast from 1939. No, I was not born back then, but I did study that as part of broadcast history as I went through that. Orson Welles was responsible for that production. What they did was they presented a very realistic production of the H.G. Wells novel, War of the Worlds. They presented that as a radio drama, of course, on the radio. And at the very beginning, they did a disclaimer. They said, what you are about to hear is a dramatization of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. This is not for real. They said that at the very beginning of that radio broadcast. Obviously, there was a significant number of people all across the country that did not hear that disclaimer. By the time they turned on their radio, what they heard was a portrayal by those 1939 standards. They heard a very realistic portrayal of a Martian invasion of Earth, and complete with people being zapped with ray guns and all that sort of thing. And with people not hearing the disclaimer at the beginning, they thought they were listening to a real news bulletin. Because furthermore, if I recall correctly from my broadcasting classes from, believe me, many, many years ago, if I recall my broadcasting classes that dealt with War of the Worlds many years ago, this War of the Worlds broadcast by Orson Welles was done in the form of a newscast. And people who did not, once again, people who did not hear that disclaimer at the very beginning thought that was an actual news bulletin. They thought they were listening to live coverage of a Martian invasion, and that did cause significant panic nationwide.
Cause some pandemonium.
I'll say, yeah, it really did. That happened, like I said, back there in 1939, radio broadcast. Orson Welles' radio broadcast, dramatization of the H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds. But I think we're ready now. We're getting a little deep in the weeds here, but since we brought this up, I'll go ahead and finish this up. With the recent release of videos from the mounted cameras on Navy jet fighters, we've seen videos from these cameras that are mounted on U.S. Navy jet fighters that show these objects in the air defying the known laws of physics. Some people refer to them as the Tic Tac video because this object that's flying in the air, defying the known laws of physics, is in the shape of a Tic Tac about the size of an automobile. The Tic Tac breath mint these what they now call UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. These UAPs flying around, caught on the video cameras that are mounted on Navy jet fighters. The government and the military, the U.S. government and the military, both say we don't know what these things are. They're in the atmosphere. They're flying around. The cameras on our jet fighters have caught them flying around, and we don't. And when I say we, this is what the U.S. government is saying. This is what the U.S. military is saying. We don't know what these things are. They are not. I want to stress this. They are not saying they come from another planet. They are not saying they are being piloted by extraterrestrials from another world, but they are saying, and this is a lot for them to admit, that there are objects flying around in the atmosphere that the government and the U.S. military cannot explain what they are. And the fact that the existence of that video being well publicized all over TV, all over the internet, has not caused any kind of panic. We are just amused by it. We might be somewhat concerned about it, but it has not caused a panic. I think it means that in real life, we are ready for disclosure.
I certainly think we are, and let's not forget, and after I say this, we can move on, but I believe it was last summer where they said so many people were reporting off the shores of New Jersey that there were hundreds of looked like tank-size
they used drones. The word drones, yeah.
They said drones, but they said, our government said they're there, but we don't know what they are, but they're not harmful. There was no mass panic. And let's not forget that we had the very popular TV show that had a reboot, the TV show V, where everyone, love that movie. So we've had alien type things on the TV, in the movies. Independence Day. We've had Ancient Aliens, a TV show that everybody loves and binges on. So I do think we are ready for a full disclosure, and I think we can handle it. And I think most people do believe at this point there is something other than us here, and that it's always been here, and that there's some kind of vehicle or Vimana. Is it Vimana?
Vimana, yeah, that's from the ancient Indian text. From out of the nation of India, these 1,000-year-old books. One of them is the Mahabharata,
yes,
written thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. This book from India called the Mahabharata, and it describes flying machines that you correctly call Vimanas, and they described. They have like a gyroscope inside of them. They go into that much detail. They fly based on having some sort of gyroscope inside of these Vimanas. And there have been experiments to try and build them. And guess what? They work. There have been, some aerodynamic experts have built in our modern times, they have read these instructions from these thousand of year-old texts in the Mahabharata. They have followed these instructions and built these ships, these Vimanas, in our time. And yes, they did fly and they did work.
And having said that, I would say we're ready for disclosure, and there wouldn't be mass panic. I just don't believe that.
No, if it was Skinwalker Ranch would have people running down the street screaming too.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite shows. We're gonna get back to the movie now, but since I brought it up, I'm a fan of the show Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, in which they are investigating what may or may not be some sort of UAP or UFO base out there in the state of Utah on a vast ranch. And this is a reality show, and there's some very strange, unexplainable things going on out there that also point to disclosure.
Well, one thing on that show is you said they've shot up little rockets and it hits something that's invisible. So
right.
you can only go so high above that ranch. And that reminds me of the movie where the fire trucks, these two very large fire trucks, are cloaked in invisibility due to some kind of technology that's displayed in the movie. So on Skinwalker Ranch, they're saying there is some type of Vimana or a spaceship or UFO above that ranch, and it's wearing an invisibility cloak, and they cannot shoot a little firework or a rocket past it. It just goes up and hits something and falls down. But whatever they see, it appears just to be open sky, but there's something there blocking it. So I just thought that was very interesting to bring up. But back to the movie.
Yeah, and it's, by the way, that invisible force up there, they have nicknamed that the bubble. So if you watch The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch like I do, you're familiar with what they call the bubble. And we hope to maybe one day get the Alabama-born Dr. Travis Taylor, one of the main scientists, astrophysicist Dr. Travis Taylor, one of the main investigators, and this is real life.
Yes.
We hope to get the Alabama-born Dr. Travis Taylor, astrophysicist, to be on this show to talk more about all the strange, unexplainable goings on there at Skinwalker Ranch in the state of Utah.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Now, back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
At last.
That was fun, though.
But I'm going to talk a little bit about the cast. This impresses me also. As we have said from the onset, this is Michelle and my third review. And what I like is a very pleasant coincidence. A star of the first movie we reviewed, the wonderful Michael Jackson movie, appropriately called Michael, one of the main stars of Michael, the movie, Coleman Domingo, who so vividly portrayed Joseph Jackson, the father of Michael Jackson, and of course the entire Jackson 5. The same Coleman Domingo is also a prominent character, or a prominent cast member, I should say, in this Steven Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day. And continuing this very nice coincidence, the second movie we reviewed was Devil Wears Prada 2. One of the main stars of Devil Wears Prada 2, Emily Blunt, is also very much a main star of Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. And she and Coleman Domingo do have scenes together in Disclosure Day. I also admire, they both give excellent performances in Disclosure Day, but I really admire how the very British Emily Blunt has totally left her British accent behind, as in this movie, Disclosure Day, she portrays, of all things, a local weathercaster. In the movie Disclosure Day, Emily Blunt portrays an American who does the local weathercast for a local TV station there in Kansas City. And I know that she is one of your favorite actors as well.
She really is. And then I really enjoyed her in this movie. She is, like you said, a weather person, and she gets drawn into this disclosure. And there's a group, and Coleman Domingo plays the head honcho of the whistleblowers.
Yes.
And so she somehow has some kind of extrasensory connection to the main whistleblower, who was the one who worked for a government agency and stole some documents. So somehow she was able to tap into him mentally, and she goes out, leaves the station and just goes out in search of this whistleblower, and they team up to get this information to the public.
Absolutely. And there's a very interesting secret as to how Emily Blunt is connected to this whistleblower who steals these classified videos and classified films proving the existence of alien presence on Earth. There's a very big secret from their childhoods that connects them, even though they don't know each other until they are going through this whole disclosure process. But they do have a very strange, deep connection that goes back to their childhood. And I think I've said enough about that. Don't want to give too much of that surprise away.
That's right. Yes, but I was just thinking about when she goes to her station to disclose. At the time, there was a big war going on.
Yes.
And so in this station, you have all these screens, all these TV screens everywhere, and it has every different nation, every major station and network having coverage all on these televisions around the station covering the war. Then she goes on to onto the
set there.
The set to disclose aliens being among us, and they automatically change throughout the world. They go, as soon as there's breaking news about this alien disclosure, all the stations around the world just forget this great big war, and everybody starts focusing on the alien disclosure. So I thought it was very interesting how the prospect of an alien invasion or just the disclosure of alien presence being finally acknowledged officially would knock a very large or potential world war straight out of the news. And that just reminds me of that press conference, that speech that Ronald Reagan gave.
Yes, back in the early 80s, he was speaking to a meeting of a gathering, I should say. It was more than just a meeting. Then President Ronald Reagan was speaking to a large gathering at the United Nations. And not to take it from you, you want it back again?
No, go ahead.
But I'm almost surprised that Steven Spielberg did not include this very special, this very appropriate speech by President Ronald Reagan in this film, because it sort of plays in with what happens in this film. Back in the early 80s, when President Reagan, of course, was president, he spoke to a large gathering at the United Nations in which, and of course I'm paraphrasing now, in which President Reagan said before the United Nations, said, "Can you imagine how our petty differences between each other as nations would simply melt away if some sort of alien threat imposed itself upon us on Earth, and we would then finally come together as one people." And that's sort of the gist of what then President Ronald Reagan said, speaking to a large gathering at the United Nations back in the early 80s. And that sort of plays right into the theme of this movie, Disclosure Day.
Yes, it leaves the question that when it just switched over from the World War or the war being covered around the world to this disclosure, it just makes you wonder, did they back away and from the war? Did they unite to go against the alien threat? It just left it right there. So we're not quite sure what became of the war in the movie, and how the nations' heads, the presidents and prime ministers, we don't know how they communicated with one another and what happened at that point. I would have liked to have seen like the United States president and Russian president and a few more others on the phone communicating. I would have liked to have seen a little of that in the movie.
Yeah, that would have been a nice touch of realism. But that's one of the weaknesses of the movie. We're going to wrap up pretty soon, but as we get prepared to wrap up, I would like to say, even though I'm going to recommend this movie and I'm going to give it a relatively good grade, but that is my main criticism of this movie. Overall, I like this movie. Overall, I am going to strongly recommend it. You will enjoy it. But my criticism is, as my wife appropriately brought up, and I'm glad she did, in the midst of all this disclosure upheaval going on, in the midst of all that, you also have the world itself is on the brink of World War III. In the movie, World War III hasn't broken out yet, but we're on the world is on the verge of World War III about to erupt. There's we the audience, the movie audience, we are allowed to hear news bulletins being broadcast about something about Russia. Surprise, surprise, it's the Russians, and also North Korea, and over in Europe, I think we hear about European fighter jets are on standby, ready to take off. The world itself is on the brink of World War III about to break out. And then one weakness of the movie is we don't find out for sure if the world, as they say, came back from the brink from World War III breaking out. That's not resolved.
No, it's not. So you want to give your grade? You want
Yes.
to give my grade?
Ladies first. Go right ahead.
Well, I give the movie a good solid B. One thing, the reason I don't give it an A is because it's called Disclosure Day, but at the end we never saw the disclosure. So there was something communicated between an extraterrestrial being and communicated to
Emily Blunt's character.
Emily Blunt's character, a weather girl turned. She was going to be the one to do the disclosure, even though she was a weather girl. She didn't. The movie didn't say what the disclosure was. So I give it a B because the movie is called Disclosure Day, but it didn't live up to the disclosure. So I give it a strong B. I really did enjoy it. Emily Blunt did a great job. Coleman Domingo did a great job. It was a great script, great writing. I loved all of that. And I just think it was very interesting how they talk about, let me see. Well, I just really like the movie. You can go ahead.
Okay, I like the movie too, and despite my reservations about the issue of World War III about to break out and that not being resolved in the movie, despite that, I still strongly recommend this movie. I think overall that you will enjoy it. I give it a B plus. I give it a B plus, and so. We're going to conclude it there, but we do recommend it. My beautiful wife gives it a B. I give it a B plus. And if you enjoyed this review, I'm going to borrow from Steven Spielberg's E.T. and ask you to phone home. And be sure and tell your friends and relatives when you phone home to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we appreciate you watching this. We sincerely do. And be sure and join us again next time.